Have we enough to buy a boat, sir?
For sure.
Excellent. Could you tell us the best way to reach the swamp area nearest to the rich parish?
That's simple enough for any fool. Sail along the river crook and keep close to the shore.
There is one last service you can do for us. The boat from which we disembarked is scheduled to leave tomorrow for Europe.
Will do.
And one last thing. How may we identify Old Sam's racks from any others?
Old Sam's racks be marked with blue and white tops.
Now, Watson, let's explore this swamp. Here is the hidden passage near Old Sam's racks. We are on the right course, Watson. Here is the hidden passage. Nothing of value there, Watson. Here is the hidden passage. Here is the hidden passage near Old Sam's racks.
But what is this horror, Holmes? Where have you taken us?
Near the goal, Watson, near the goal.
Good God! Look in the water! What monsters!
No, Watson, they are crocodiles, and
I can think of nothing useful.
we must find some enticing food to lure them away from here, Watson.
Holmes, I fail to see how they feel.
Bravo, Watson. Here is what will draw these reptiles in that direction and free the path.
Much better.
Attention, Watson. We arrive. Stand ready.
Here now, this is hardly real.
I haven't examined everything yet.
Pitiable and blind. Do not fight the calling.
I've got it, Holmes!
What a strange book. I've never seen these idioms before. How perfect. It'll... Watson, see what you can do for this poor man. His servant took a harsh and terrible revenge by letting him go to these wild men.
Holmes, help me to carry him to the boat. I really can't say if he will survive the voyage back.
By the devil, that'd be Arneson.
Indeed. Do you know someone who can be a...
You takes yourselves round and seize that little...
I know where Lucy is. Please, help my friends to lift...
What can we do for you?
Dear madam, could you tell Lucy that we have found Mr. Arneson, and tell her to hurry?
Lucy! Lucy! Ah, here you are. This... My God, can it be true? Sure enough, as he say. What have they done with you?
He has lost his hand and is in deep shock. But with rest and tender care, he has a good chance to...
Oh, madam, please, please.
If I could have a moment, we found this sum of money, which is a large amount, and belongs to Mr. Arneson.
Well, this seems all right then. I will take good care of you.
About Arneson's place, there was some disorder left there. If you could be a good man and set things right...
You can count on old Champagne for every little...
I can see our friend is in good hands. We better hurry, Watson. I see our ship is making ready to leave. Watson, I have told you several times now, I am not to be disturbed.
But Holmes, you have been locked inside your cabin for all of 4 days now. How...
If you approach me, Watson, I will throw you out.
Blast it all, Holmes! I am bored. I can't take these sailors' conversations for another minute.
We have an understanding, Watson, each to his purpose. I will look to the translation of the book. You are to study the figures written out by...
But you know that these enigmas are not my strong point. Wouldn't you have some other...
Of course. You're a man of letters, after all. So, return to the bridge, take your trusted notebook, and apply your mind...
Agreed. On what subject?
It is my monograph on the calculated trajectory... I see we have received a message, undoubtedly from my brother. Strange. Here, read this one.
Indeed, but the possession of such a treasure is an end in itself. Why the devil go through with such an...
Money is often the motive of the basest acts, but not in this case. These are deep waters indeed, Watson.
You frighten me, Holmes.
I know, sometimes I frighten myself. Enough of idle speculations, Watson. I asked you to study the figures drawn... Indeed, they are open to but one possible meaning, even if it eludes me at present. As for my own enigma, I have failed to penetrate the language is archaic, and my own modest knowledge of ciphers is sorely tested. I have succeeded in drawing forth only insanities and...
How did you say it? What? These drawings, what are...
I just recalled, Watson. Didn't Barnes, the bookseller, tell us he had studied ancient history? Perhaps he might help us with the translation of this book.
Mr. Holmes, Dr. Watson, a real pleasure to see...
Indeed, we took a very long journey and barely made it back. However, we have more important matters to discuss.
Indeed I did, Mr. Holmes. Why do you ask? What can I do for you, Mr. Holmes?
You are just the man we need. I ran across this...
Mr. Holmes, wherever did you find this?
If you could be so good as to translate some of these fragments for me, I would...
With pleasure. I will get to work. My word, this book contains powerful language, like some dark magic. Strand! Get the Strand! 3 ships still missing at sea! All aboard feared lost!
Give me the latest edition. There's a good...
Thank you, mister.
Watson, consider the news of all these missing ships. I have an idea, but it will be necessary to...
True enough, Holmes.
It's elementary. It is a siege... Good day, sir.
Good morning to you, gentlemen.
Thank you, but at the moment I have need of information and will have to miss another glass of your fine ale.
They're all kept at the harbour master's office.
Precisely. What I need is a...
Indeed, such a sad tale. All those poor souls lost at sea. It seems as if the very...
I need something. I have what we need, Watson. Watson, that's what those mysterious figures meant. Longitude and latitude. A photograph of Rochester.
Did you find everything to your liking?
Indeed, you are as good as your word. I found the charts just as...
Ah, yes, it's a lighthouse along that very coastline. Legend has it, the place was built over a pirate's hideaway. In fact, now that I think on it, rather odd-looking building. They say the chap who built it, Stevenson I believe his name was, that he fancied up the entrance with foreign symbols. Mr. Holmes, that gent Barnes is looking for you. Mr. Holmes, I was able to translate the pages that you... This book is quite ancient. It tells of a terrifying sect devoted to strange entities. The descriptions are vague, but we can presume...
A nightmare sleeping within the sea.
To be exact, the pages you asked me to translate are in fact a prayer or invocation to this entity and the description of the ceremony associated with it. To be frank, what is...
And this ceremony, what can you...
Promise me, you will not laugh. The book says that hundreds or thousands of years ago, during a particular alignment of the stars, a priest performed these rites, invoking the name of a destructive Leviathan. The priest then asked a representative of each nation on the earth to recite the invocation and...
Pray continue, Barnes.
As you like. It goes on to say that the ceremony must be held under the image of the messenger of the... So an idol in its likeness must be present during the ceremony.
I can imagine it very well, Barnes. You say that these people are to throw themselves into the sea so that their god...
That's the most preposterous part of this tale, and proves it to be pure myth and fancy. Even for the sake of argument, this ceremony could never have happened.
I understand, Barnes. Humour me a bit more, and please answer my...
Indeed, we would owe this creature our world. According to this, complete the ceremony and the collective sacrifice...
Thank you, Barnes. I must leave now. The newspaper dating before our departure. Watson, find it. There was some article about the current...
But Holmes, surely you can't believe...
The newspaper, Watson. Look, Watson! The light is barely lit! This explains the shipwrecks and recent disappearances!
Holmes, if we do not find a place to land, and soon, I fear they will add our names to those poor souls. Oh my God! Holmes! Look! The sea! It just swallowed...
Lambs for the slaughter! Watson, we must... They took particular pains to give this statue a feature... It is sealed tight from the inside. This rope is hardly... Indeed, barrels of fresh water.
This wet wooden piece must weigh as much...
Watson, here are 3